5 embattled Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard has been hit with an eviction lawsuit. NBC5 has obtained a copy of an eviction notice filed in Cook County Court.
The mayor of Dalton is facing eviction from her home. The landlord of Tiffany Henyard and Kamal Woods say they're behind on their rent.
WGN Investigates has viewed recent court filings that show Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard is facing eviction. That filing is dated September 6th. That says Henyard and her boyfriend Kamal Woods owe more than $3,000 in back rent.
So Tiffany Henyard is being evicted from her home. We got snitches that are flipping like fish, and we have to talk about that $100,000 party where almost no one attended. All right, welcome to Dalton, Illinois, population 20,000, home of the Dalton dictator, the warlord of Illinois, Tiffany Henyard. Now, in this video, we have 3 updates that I need to tell you about. First, how she's allegedly facing eviction from her residence. Now, this is kind of crazy because she makes $300,000. So how is she facing eviction from, I think, $1,500 a month's rent? It's insanity. Then she throws this star-studded $85,000 party where essentially no one showed up. And then last but not least, we have how her ex-assistant is ratting her out publicly, and we'll play that clip. So first things first, Tiffany Henyard is under FBI investigation for public corruption.
WGN Investigates has obtained or reviewed subpoenas the FBI served to Thornton Township and Dalton. They serve as a roadmap to the ongoing federal investigation. They seek payment and expense records for Tiffany Henyard, as well as her boyfriend, who runs a violence prevention program for the township. Also named Henyard's top aide, Dalton's acting police chief, along with 4 village and township trustees and 2 of Henyard's relatives who are on the government payroll.
Now, I want you to look at this. This is Carmen Carlisle down here on the bottom right-hand side. Now, Carmen Carlisle was a Henyard sycophant, doing everything Henyard said. She was her assistant, and she was actually the one spending all the township and village's money doing Henyard's dirty work. But as you see here, the FBI subpoenaed records from Carmen Carlisle, so Carmen Carlisle decided to flip on Tiffany Henyard.
WGN Investigates has learned South suburban politician Tiffany Henyard has lost another key ally. Until recently, Henyard enjoyed near unanimous support on the Thornton Township Board, but now trustee Carmen Carlisle says after trusting Henyard and remaining silent, she will be a whistleblower against Henyard. Carlisle released a statement to WGN that reads in part, "For the past 2 years, Henyard has manipulated employees, vendors, and residents using her position to increase her influence, all while projecting a false image of success funded by the hardworking taxpayers of Thornton Township and the village of Dalton. Henyard shows no accountability or conscience for her actions against employees or taxpayers."
Now, because Carmen Carlisle flipped, Henyard thought she would teach her a lesson. So Henyard said that she wanted an investigation done into Keith Freeman's credit card. Now, who is Keith Freeman for those of you who've never heard of Tiffany Henyard? Well, Keith Freeman was her top lieutenant who the government flipped, and he was also indicted for bankruptcy fraud.
A high-ranking administrator for both Dalton and Thornton Township is charged with fraud connected to an alleged bankruptcy scheme.
The village also completed negotiations with the police patrol, police lieutenants, and the sergeants.
Right here you see Keith Freeman, who sits next to embattled Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, discussing finances at a recent village board meeting. The U.S. attorney accuses Freeman of concealing assets and incomes from his creditors. He faces up to 5 years in prison if convicted.
So now, after Freeman was indicted and started talking to the feds and talking to whoever would listen, Henyard decided to blame Keith Freeman for all the corruption going on in Dalton. Here's what her attorney had to say.
Mayor Henyard is in a situation where she feels like she's under attack, because she is.
Bo Brinley is Henyard's criminal defense attorney, hired after the FBI served subpoenas on the village and township earlier this year. He blames Henyard's top aide, Keith Freeman.
Keith Freeman made the decision on how these funds are being used. Keith Freeman is going on these trips. You understand, this is a new mayor. This is someone that is new to this job.
But she never thought, hey, I shouldn't fly first class. I shouldn't stay at the Four Seasons.
If there was a problem with any of that, if that's not how you're supposed to do it, she relied on Freeman to tell her. He's telling her this is how we do things. The mayor didn't spend any of this money. Keith Freeman made decisions and reported to the mayor, this is what we're doing. The mayor trusted him until she didn't.
So now understand where we're at. Keith Freeman had a credit card, and he was using that credit card to pay for Hinyard stuff. Now, Hinyard can always use plausible deniability. Hey, I didn't know somebody else was paying for it. But that's essentially what was going on in the background. Now, Keith Freeman would give his card allegedly to Carlisle, who was a trustee on Thornton Township's board, and Carlisle, being Hinyard's assistant at the time, would then pay for all this stuff for Hinyard. So now Hinyard is going to ask that Keith Freeman's credit card be investigated and the way that Carlisle used that card to buy things for Hinyard. Now, Hinyard thinks that she is going to get Carlisle by asking for that card to be investigated, but the dummy forgets that all the things that Carlisle bought was for Hinyard. Check it out.
All right, next on the agenda is there a motion to conduct a forensic audit / investigation of Keith Freeman's credit card and Carmen Carlisle use of said card? Is there a motion? Motion. Is there a second? Second. Is there a motion second? Any discussion?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So I want to say, unlike Supervisor Hinyard, I am happy to talk about any investigation. I welcome any investigation about any expenditure in Thornton Township's finances. I have no problem with sitting down and talking to an investigator about any of the purchases I made on behalf of Thornton Township for Supervisor Hinyard and the multiple trips I booked for her, the expensive the hotel suites, the first class flights, the expensive dinners, the different amenities that she received that were provided to her on behalf of Thornton Township residents. And yes, as she stated, I was her assistant, so I was on many of those trips. I was told by her to make sure she had 2 trips booked a month, nothing under 3 or 4 days. And I think that anybody who wants to know, any investigator who asks any question should have any information about any trip, including but not limited to the shirts, the paraphernalia and flyers, and the promotional items that have been paid for with her face and her image on it by Thornton Township, details about her transportation, the travel plans, information about her security that she demanded to go with her everywhere she went. I welcome any investigation into any expenditure involving Tiffany Hinyard and Keith Freeman's credit card. And I'm sure that Keith Freeman will also be happy to answer any questions about this too, because again, we're open to being honest and transparent about anything that we've done for Thornton Township. And not to mention that Tiffany Hinyard wasn't the only person that benefited, but Mr. Woods was there and many other people was there at those trips, and I'd be happy to discuss any of this about to anybody. And again, I think since we're talking about it, Lori Lightfoot did such a great job in Dalton. I would welcome her to come and do the same thing here at Thornton Township. So yes, I would like to have an investigation. I'll sit down and answer any question about any trip I booked on behalf of Supervisor Hinyard as her assistant. Yes.
Okay. All right. So.
Okay, let me pause this video and ask you a question. Have you used Google Chrome's Incognito Mode between 2016 and 2023? If so, you may be entitled to up to $5,000 in compensation. Now, if you use Incognito Mode, Google was secretly tracking your data, despite their promises that your search history and personal information was not going to be collected or tracked.
Collects 39 individual data points on you, and so this is all about data. They're trying to figure out how they can get access to it. So creating this Incognito Mode was supposed to be a way that they were not capturing or retaining your data. That's what we all believed.
What happens to Google now? Are they at risk of more lawsuits from this?
100%.
So if you've used Google's Incognito Mode during the period of 2016 to 2023, you could be eligible to join the lawsuit at no cost to you. Visit browserclaim.com to see if you qualify. There are no upfront costs, no hidden fees. Simply fill out the form and start your claim. Now, I need you to understand, participating in any lawsuit doesn't guarantee compensation, but you do have the right to seek compensation if your privacy was violated. Now, full disclosure, my firm isn't the only one involved. For instance, one of the largest firms in the country, Morgan & Morgan, is also asking for clients for this lawsuit. Now, for more information and to get started, visit browserclaim.com today to protect your rights and hold Google accountable. Now, the link is in the description and in the pinned comment. Now, back to the video. So Hinyard, the idiot, forgot that Carly was her assistant and knows where all the bodies are buried. So that actually happened. So we got our flipper. Now, the next story is this $85,000 township party that Hinyard threw. This crazy extravagant party that essentially no one showed up to. Check it out.
The self-proclaimed super mayor is also apparently a super fan. She flew in nationally known R&B singer Keke Wyatt to headline the Taste of Thornton Township last month. WGN Investigates obtained the bills through open records laws. They show Keke Wyatt was paid $30,000 for a 30-minute performance. Rapper Jay Holiday made $20,000 for a half-hour set. Other costs, including comedians, bounce houses, staff, and equipment, add $35,000, meaning this single-day event cost South Suburban taxpayers more than $85,000.
It might have been approximately 65 to 70 people there.
Now I know. Let me do the math. Let's say there were 85 people there. At $85,000, it's $1,000 per person. They could have just given the people that money and they would have had a better time. But again, it's Henyard and she likes to spend taxpayer money. Now, when it comes to spending money, Tiffany Henyard makes close to $300,000 a year.
And for the different jobs, so Dalton pays you what as mayor, Township pays you what?
Sure. So my mayor position is $50,000, which was already there, and my township position is $224,000, which was already there.
So Henyard and her boyfriend live at this home, and it seems like the rent is about $2,400 per month. So it's something that they well can afford, but they haven't been paying their rent. Matter of fact, their landlord filed this eviction notice.
Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard has a new crisis on her hands. She's being booted out of her home.
New at 5, embattled Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard has been hit with an eviction lawsuit. NBC5 has obtained a copy of an eviction notice filed in Cook County Court. It names Henyard and her boyfriend Kamal Woods, who is a Thornton Township employee.
A new court filing shows she's been served an eviction notice for failing to pay back rent to the tune of $3,350. The eviction notice states that Henyard and her boyfriend were informed on September 18th about their overdue rent and were given 5 days to vacate the property.
Now think about that, how horrible this is. The mayor of your town can't keep their personal finances straight. How the hell are they going to keep the town's personal finances straight? But Henyard's lawyer responded to this.
Now, we reached out to her attorney, who texted back that he believes the story is false and that no rent payment was ever missed.
So now that's your Dalton update. This Monday coming up, we will be sitting down and watching the next Dalton board meeting. This is after the evictions, after the turmoil at Thornton Township, and after the judge has said Henyard's illegal appointments were in fact illegal. So don't forget, like, share, subscribe, do all that great YouTube stuff. My name is Ed the Lawyer, and I'm going to see you in the next one.